have started, and
Yeah.
the opposition and people are saying that one of the biggest issues, if not the biggest, basically it's the economy and the border, immigration.
Yeah.
So I want to ask you about the current, I don't know what to call it, the current debacle in Congress over the Democrats agreeing to a very far-reaching immigration in order to have the aid to Ukraine and Israel unblocked. And yet now the Senate and certainly the House are not going to pass it. So this is what former Vice President Al Gore said to me about this particular issue. And I wanted to get your take afterwards.
Yeah.
Now Donald Trump says, no, don't do that, because the worse things are, the better my chances in the election. So don't solve this crisis. If you balance the interests of the United States of America against this petty political desire to have a disaster to enhance the election results, that's a pretty easy choice to make, isn't it?
So what is your take? Do you think the Republicans will be blamed for scuttling a border deal, an immigration deal that was very kind to the conservatives, as it's been, it's been reported, or not?
I think it's really important for political observers abroad to understand that the Republicans are not necessarily operating in a place based on polling and strategy. Their leader is an impulsive, out of control, diminished figure. And I think what you're seeing is that this is a sign of desperation for them. They know that he's damaged goods. They haven't been performing well in the elections. Their party is broke and out of money. They're having enormous issues with the operations of the party. He's getting crushed in the courts right now. And so I think this is a sign of desperation, because the biggest challenge the Republicans have right now is that all their major talking points against Joe Biden, the economy was terrible, that's not true. Inflation's too high, that's no longer true. Crime is rising, that's not true. He's waged a war on energy, that's not true, right? The core of their indictments of Biden have all evaporated because of Biden's success as president. So what they were left with was this border stuff. And now they've actually done something that I think is incredible, which is they're going to be campaigning on this idea that they want more immigrants to come into the country, the border being chaos, and they want Putin to win in Russia. Good luck trying to run on that platform in this country at this point. It's an absurdity. So this area where they had an advantage over us, I think they're blowing it. And they're now giving us the ability to bludgeon them with not solving a problem that they have argued aggressively is a huge crisis. So I think the key here to recognize is that nothing you're witnessing here coming from the Republican Party right now is from strength and power and confidence. It's desperation. They're weak. They're losing the election, in my view, or will lose the election. And they're starting to do crazy things. And so it's that's how I see this playing out. I am shocked at what the Republicans have done in the last couple of days. They've come out against the border, the border union, which is a core right-wing part of their coalition, has come out for the deal. The Wall Street Journal today editorial page came out for the Senate deal. I mean, they're now going up against core parts of their coalition. And this is why I think the last thing I'll say about this is I think the way to think about what we're seeing in the early days is the Republican Party is splintering in the United States. The coalition is splintering. The non-MAGA part of the party, which is 20–30%, didn't go along with Trumpy Republican candidates in 2022. They didn't go along with Trumpy Republican candidates in 2023. And I think they're going to really struggle to go along with this super Trumpy candidate in 2024.
And just finally, so that it doesn't sound too Pollyannish, you said work has got to be done, and Biden has said work has got to be done. There is a feeling that the message that you're articulating is not being articulated by his people, by him yet, even to the point that he's going to sit out an incredible exposure, and that is the Super Bowl interview, where presidents usually, get their chance to have a pretty friendly interview.
So I will just say that I think the Biden campaign is not as far along as I think many of us would like. And that, given the gravity of this election and given Trump's capacity to create noise and distraction and dictate the daily discourse in the United States, we're going to have to be very loud and very aggressive. And I worked in the Clinton War Room in '92, and, I was trained as a young information warrior, as we call it, in our politics. And we're up against a very loud and noisy machine on the other side. And we've got to start getting loud and being aggressive. And I think the Biden campaign is slowly, getting to the point where it needs to be. I don't think they're going to be fully and up and running for another 6 to 8 weeks, which in our system is a long time. I know for many countries, the entire election is 6 to 8 weeks. But I think you're going to start to see by March, you're going to start to see really the full general election campaign. And I think, look, I think that Biden has a very strong case for re-election. I assume that we're going to hear the beginnings of the second term agenda in the State of the Union in early March. And you put Biden up, this slow and steady leadership, workhorse, not a show horse, clearly made the country better against this wild, unfit, crazy party. I think we should, my view is, having done this now for more than 30 years, we should win this election in 2024. We should flip the House. The Senate will be up for grabs until the very end, but I'm very bullish on our chances this year.
Resolute Square.